Hello again, and welcome to today's session on how to get the most value from your existing software systems. I'm JP Lassard, and be sure to check out the other videos in this series by my partner, John Horner. Today, we're going to be talking about how to improve your software systems through the performance specifically. So we're going to jump right into some potential solutions, and I'm going to share with you exactly how you can get high-performing systems very soon. Okay, now we can continue with the presentation. All right, so you saw that. I'm positive you run into that situation several times a day. If you've got a slow performing system and you're looking for solutions here, you know what I'm talking about. The real cost of it can be very easy. So that was about 10 seconds or so that we just spent on that other loading screen. Imagine, and it was kind of excruciating, imagine 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Multiply that out by 100 employees using the system. Multiply that out by 100 times a day that they have to do that. That's your real cost. There's your time, money, productivity that are lost due to a slow performing system. If you haven't done that calculation, you can go do that. Come back, I'll give you some solutions, but now you realize how much money you're losing. On top of that, there's hidden costs. And I would say that these are potentially more valuable or more costly to you than that calculation you just did. Think about customer experience. People expect things very quickly right now these days, right? And those seconds that we're spending turn into minutes, turn into hours, turn into days very easily and very quickly. And if you deliver something to your customer a few hours different, or imagine a whole day difference between delivering something to your customer, that's a difference between a super happy customer and a not so happy customer, right? Number two, employee engagement. Nobody likes to spend their time fighting with and waiting for their software systems or IT systems, right? You want super engaged employees. So not only are they missing the productivity in the times they're waiting for the system, but even after that, they're already frustrated. So now they're frustrated and they're not super engaged in the job that they're doing. So as business leaders, we spend time and invest a lot in great customer experience and high employee engagement. And your slow performing systems are undercutting those efforts right now. So get those out of the way so that you can have super happy customers, super happy employees. I'm going to help you figure that out. Number one, let's talk about some quick and easy solutions, okay? So these are the ones that you should start with. If you haven't done these at all yet and you've got a slow performing system, number one, throw hardware at it. All right, so now after you go across the room and pick up your mouse and keyboard that you just threw across the room because you got a slow performing system, you feel better, but that's not what I'm talking about for throw hardware. I'm talking about just crank up the resources, right? So throw hardware at it is a term you can increase the resources in a physical server if you're still running there. If you're in the cloud services, it's actually easier than ever to just turn up the knob on the resources that you're applying, so just increase the resources, work with your IT and software teams to make sure that if it's performing slow, let's turn it up. Let's see if it performs better. Then we don't have to spend that much effort and we have a better performing system. Number two, data archive. If you're dealing with 10, 20 years worth of data and your system is having to filter through that every time you do something every day, I would say get it down to 1 or 2 years or maybe 3 years worth of data. Archive it to a place that you can still access it, but on your day-to-day performance of what you're using in the system, get that down to 1, 2, or 3 years worth of data and it'll speed it up a lot. If you're not sure how to do that, again, get your IT team to help you figure that out. A lot of systems have it built right in that you can archive through a certain date. Handling large loads, and there's two things that can create large loads in a system. Number one, every time you go to certain screens, let's say that it loads a lot of information. So let's say every time you go to your customers list, I'm going to look up a customer, and every time I click customers, it loads all 10,000 or all 100,000 of my customers, right? And however many people go to that screen every day, again, multiply it out, do the math, that's a huge load you're creating on your system. The simple tweak of changing that screen to not load any customers when you first go there. I click customers and it's just got all my search fields right up top. Now I search for the customer I'm actually looking for and it only loads 5 results, right? Instead of 10,000 or 100,000. That's a huge savings. That's a huge load you just took off your system. Number two, I got to run like year-over-year comparison reports, right? Instead of running that at 9 a.m. in the morning when everybody's trying to get things done and now you're slowing down the whole system, run it at a time that it's less likely to impact people. Now let's talk about next level performance. So you've done all those quick and easy things, right? Now, what else can I do? What's the next level? I've done that. It's still slow. What can I do, JP? Analyze and optimize. There's great tools out there for almost every system that you can apply that will actually figure out what's performing slowly. It'll tell you the exact database query. It'll tell you the exact page of your system that's running slow. So look for what those tools are, analyze it, find the top 5 worst performing pieces of your system, get them optimized, and then rinse and repeat. If you do that 2 or 3 times, most likely if you get the top 5 to 10 worst performing things in your system to be optimized, you're going to notice a huge difference. You may be done at that point. So look for those tools and optimize the things that are the worst performers. Load balancing. Again, if you're already in the cloud, this is a great solution. You can put geographically diverse solutions in place. You can balance the load. If you've got your database and your application running on the same service or server, split those up to start. That's a way to load balance. And then you can start splitting further using load balancing devices or services that are out there. So that's another great way to improve the performance of your system. These are starting to get into some of the higher investment levers, but it's still a good way to approach this. And finally, scheduling jobs. So remember that big report I was talking about, the year over year? So a lot of reporting systems have built-in schedulers. So if I want to run that report, I could run it every day if I want to. I just want it to run at 2 a.m. and be sitting there ready for me when I come into work the next day. So schedule that job to run at a time when it's not going to impact people. And again, if you're not sure how to do that in your system, check with your support team. And then process automation. I'm going to be talking about this next, so stay tuned for more information about how you can do some process automation, and that will join and make your system perform even better. So now that you know, I highly encourage you to stop living with mediocre performance from your software systems. And until next time, thank you very much, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or we can help in any way.